to invite Wayne Rex, Property Council of Australia, Queensland President, to the stage to launch the Property Council of Australia's advocacy agenda for 2010. Could you please join me in welcoming Wayne?
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon, Premier, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to formally launch the 2010 Property Council of Australia advocacy agenda for Queensland. The 2010 advocacy priorities for the property industry have been set following a collaborative process involving our yearly membership survey, extensive discussions in all of the Queensland Property Council committees and the Queensland Divisional Council. Our first focus issue is infrastructure. We're looking for increased government spending on urban infrastructure, a reduction on infrastructure charges, and improved government planning, infrastructure coordination and delivery. Our second focus issue is for planning for realistic outcomes. The Property Council is strongly advocating for simpler, clearer planning rules and realistic infill and greenfield targets, which would lead to increased and more affordable land supply. The third area of focus is closely linked to the second one, quicker development assessment. The property industry needs faster and more rational development assessments that provide greater certainty in timeframes and approval outcomes. The rollout of the Development Assessment Forum's leading practice model, the introduction of development assessment panels, and the rollout of Risk Smart across Queensland would be much welcomed by the property industry. Our fourth focus area is regional growth and diversity, where we recognise that stable economic growth and support for the property industry in regional areas is essential for a strong and vibrant Queensland economy. The regions are doing it tougher than most at present, and greater government expenditure on infrastructure in regional areas, such as the Sunshine Coast Hospital and the Gold Coast Rapid Transit projects, would provide much needed deployment assistance and stimulus to those regions. The fifth area of focus is to facilitate greater opportunity for sustainable outcomes. Retro greening of existing building stock, fast-track green door development assessments, bigger incentives for green developers and owners are some of the key issues that the Property Council will focus on in 2010. And last but certainly not least is the issue of land tax and the valuation system. Further annual increases of 30% are simply unsustainable and will see investors choose interstate investment options. We have worked tirelessly throughout 2009 to detail the significant impacts of these ill-advised rises on Queensland property owners, and will continue to advocate in 2010 for lower land taxes and a consistent valuation system. And it will be on behalf of our 340 member companies in Queensland that the Property Council will actively engage with all levels of government, seeking a constructive political engagement to further the property industry's interests.
Okay, I'd now like to invite David Stewart of RLB Brisbane to the stage to present the launch of the 2010 National Innovation and Excellence Awards. Could you please join me in welcoming David?
Thank you, Steve. Well, it's that time again, and the Property Council, in conjunction with Ryder Levitt Bucknell, are calling for nominations in the 2010 National Innovation and Excellence Awards. RLB have a long association with the Property Council, and in recognising innovation and excellence, it is again our great pleasure to be principal sponsor for these awards in 2010. We are anticipating an even bigger field of entries this year. Thank you and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker, the Honourable Anna Bligh, Premier for Minister and the Arts. Anna Bligh made history on the 21st of March of this year when she became the first popularly elected female Premier in Australia. Prior to the election, she served as Queensland Premier from the 13th of September 2007, following the resignation of Peter Beattie. Could you please join me in welcoming the Premier?
Thank you very much, Steve. Great to be with you and your guests for the annual Downtown Lunch. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming along. Can I acknowledge Steve Greenwood, the Executive Director of the Queensland Property Council of Australia, and Wayne Rex, the President of the Property Council of Australia. Can I also thank RLP for sponsoring the lunch today. I think it's a very good opportunity for us to get together and take stock of where we're up to and some issues that matter to everybody in this room and matter to the Queensland Government. For the property industry, we know the global financial crisis has hit you harder than most. We've seen a crisis of credit that's made it tougher to get the finance that you need to build the dwellings that we all need for the future. And this could have some very serious implications for the future growth of Queensland. For the government, the global financial crisis has wiped $15 billion from the state budget, and it's required us to make some very tough decisions to ensure the Queensland's long-term prosperity. Some of these decisions, like the planned sale of some commercial business assets, have caused some concern in the community. But crises are often the catalyst for fundamental reform, and in this case, it has provided the opportunity for Queensland to consider the role of government in a modern economy. And these new assets are the very assets that we need to secure the future of this state. The new assets that we're investing in are better public transport, designed to help tackle climate change, designed to help tackle congestion and improve livability. New and better roads to improve economic productivity and to help families get home sooner. New and better hospitals to ensure health care for all. In short, we have chosen to invest taxpayers' money in assets such as new schools to give our kids the best start in life and allow the private sector to invest in coal wagons to take private coal companies' products to port. One of the reasons we've made tough decisions in this budget is because I was determined to quarantine the building program. At just over $18 billion, it is Australia's largest capital investment. It is protecting 127,000 jobs across the state. And the experts have supported our decision to make this investment. Treasury modelling shows that without that building program, Queensland would have descended into recession and unemployment would now be over 10%. But the building program is much more than just a temporary stimulus package. As I said, this is about modernising Queensland. It is about transforming our state. It is about putting in place the infrastructure that we need right now and the next day and the next year and the next decade and anticipating tomorrow.